So for those of you who watched last night's game plan, you are well aware that I was planning to buy call options in between the zone of 586 to 587. In terms of the one trade that I ended up making on the day, I decided to wait until power hour. I noticed that there was a bullish 30-minute confirmation candlestick pattern forming slightly above the zone that I gave you in yesterday's video. I decided to buy SPX 5900 calls at 75 cents a contract. I bought these calls towards the exact lows, timing the trade perfectly. Within just 30 minutes, they went from 75 cents all the way to 2100 a contract. Those calls literally went up nearly 3,000% profit return. And G-Roar ended up calling calls on a different strike. He went with 5905 SPX calls. He ended up getting in at 90 cents. They dropped all the way to 20 cents. And he ended up adding at 45 cents a contract, and they went to 1,600. In terms of where he added to his position, they went up nearly 4,000%. In terms of the morning trading session, we ended up going 2 for 2, back-to-back wins on puts. I'm going to be breaking this down to you and explain to you on how we're able to enter trades that are going up multiple 1,000% in literally less than 30 minutes. I'm going to be breaking down the trades to you that we ended up making on SPX towards the end of this video. First things first, let's get straight into the money-making information. So in terms of Team Roar, we absolutely crushed it today. In terms of all of our trades combined, we ended up making multiple 1,000%. Now, with that being said, in terms of the new levels that I have for you on SPY, it's going to be very simple. Based off of what I'm seeing on the daily chart, if the SPY is gapping down, opening up lower than the previous closing price, 590.50, the main focus, especially towards market open to the middle of the day, is going to be to buy put options. So in terms of the SPY, we have a gap to fill here at 591. We have a gap to fill here at 593. It's basically filling this gap at 591. We have a lot of resistance right here with some nice quick downside potential, right? So as long as we're reacting as a resistance level at 590.50, and as long as we are gapping down, the focus is going to be to buy put options. In terms of the overall levels, 590.50 is going to be a key level of interest for a gap reversal. But if we are gapping down, I would be willing to go with the lower levels for an overall bearish move. So in terms of the lower levels, this is what I would want you to keep an eye on. Keep an eye on this following zone, this 588 to 589 overall zone. If you are seeing that zone react bearish, if you are seeing lower highs forming, you're going to want to be in on put options. Also, keep an eye on the 1-minute chart. Study where the support is in towards the pre-market. If we're gapping down, study where the support is towards the market open. Once you are seeing big spikes at that support, see if it's forming lower highs, right, at previous support levels. See if once it cracks that support and spikes back up, if it's forming new lower highs, new resistance levels, buy put options, right? So in terms of that overall bear trend, you're going to want to take advantage of the breakdown and retest. Identify where the support levels are in the pre-market at market open. Once the support levels crack, wait for it to spike back up towards that previous support level, right? And then short the retest. Buy the put options on the spike for new lower highs. That's how you're going to be able to take advantage of that overall bear trend for tomorrow if we are gapping down. Now, if the SPY is gapping up, we can potentially have a gap and go. So if we're gapping up, what we're going to need to see happen is we're going to need to see 591 to 590.50 react to support. If we react to support, the next level we head to is 593 for a gap reversal, right? So those are the main plays that I'm seeing. If we gap up, look to play a gap and go, and then look to play puts towards the higher level at 593.30. If we're gapping down, look to buy put options towards the lower levels rather than the previous closing price at 590.50. You can look for the lower levels, which will be determined in the pre-market in terms of just breaking down the chart for overall puts price action. As you can see right here, the overall zone is going to be 589 to like 587.50 to 588. Once we start to break down and react as a resistance, the next levels we're going to be dropping to is going to be 585. And then the next level under that is going to be the following. So I'm going to go a little bit further out here on the 30-minute chart. Next level under 585 is going to be 584. Next level below that is going to be 582, that's make or break. In terms of buying call options at oversold levels, if we're reacting bearish, be extremely careful tomorrow when buying calls. If we're gapping down, it's going to be at the oversold levels only, which is going to be towards 582, 580, and 577 gap reversal. Use strong bullish 30-minute candlestick confirmations if you are considering call options at the oversold zone on an overall bearish day. Like I said, man, if we are reacting bearish, the main focus on a gap down is just going to be puts towards the market open. You could literally just call it a day in a sense, right? It's likely going to be an overall bearish day, but we could potentially bounce. But in terms of that potential bounce, man, based off of what I'm seeing, it's going to be challenging. So in a sense, use strong bullish 30-minute candlestick confirmations if you're trying to fight against the trend and go with the most oversold levels, which would be towards 580 to 582, best level 577 gap reversal, right? That's the overall game plan heading into tomorrow. That's what you need to be aware of. Make sure you are using the 30-minute candlestick patterns that I've been teaching you. I'm telling you, man, this game plan is going to work out absolutely phenomenal heading into tomorrow. In terms of the levels I gave you yesterday, I made it very, very clear. These were the lines that I drew out for you. 586 to 587 is where I'm going to buy call options. I literally waited all the way up until power hour to take advantage of my overall game plan, because the way I'm trading is I'm not just trading out these overall levels. I'm waiting for strong 30-minute candlestick patterns to develop at or towards my levels to enter these trades. And sometimes these patterns that I'm capturing in real time take an hour and a half to 2.5 hours to develop. And you guys know me, I prefer to trade during the power hour. That's when I personally trade best. Now, let's get straight into the trades, man. I'm going to be breaking it down. So first things first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the education that I used to make this trade on SPX calls that literally went from 75 cents a contract to $20 a contract, $75 to $2,000, right? Just one single contract within just 30 minutes. I'm going to explain to you how I was able to buy these literally towards the exact lows. So in terms of this overall trade, you needed extended hours and able to see the overall pattern, right? So heading into the market, I'm not going to be explaining how I came up with these levels. You have to go back and watch last night's video. But I had a foundation. I had a sense that I wanted to buy call options in between the zone of 586 to 587. Now, in terms of the confirmation that I used on the 30-minute candlestick chart, this was the confirmation. So as you can see right here, I'm going to pull up the trade for you. Everything we do is alerted 100% in real time, and I'm going to walk you through this situation, right? So in terms of my trade, this was the only trade that I alerted on the day, right? So I only ended up making one trade on the day in terms of like my own personal trade that I alerted in real time. You can see right here, this was the trade that I ended up making at 3:10 p.m., 10 minutes into the power hour trading session. I bought these 5900 SPX calls at 75 cents a contract. I ended up seeing a very bullish pattern on the SPY, slightly above the zone that I wanted to buy call options at, right? So 5900 SPX calls at 75 cents a contract, right? At 3:10 p.m. So as you can see, 5900 SPX calls right here. We're going to go to 3:10 p.m. This is exactly where I ended up getting in on the trade. As you can see, as soon as I got in, there was a massive spike on the volume as well. So I'm literally buying these calls towards the exact lows. And then I started closing out my position, into the 230s, making over a 200% profit return. They ended up going to 2100 a contract in literally just 40 minutes. This is the power of trading SPX during power hour. Make sure you are using a broker that allows you to trade SPX. It's going to always give you the biggest percentage gains within the market. And when we buy SPX, we wait until the power hour. We wait until the contracts are under $100. They're always going to outweigh the SPY percentage gains. We're going with SPX, man. I'm telling you, this is the new wave in terms of zero-day options trading, right? So in terms of this trade, why did I decide to do that, right? So in terms of the reason, it was a 30-minute chart. And, when I'm trading SPX, I'm looking at the patterns on SPY as well. And I'm also looking at SPX patterns, but I'm mainly focused on the SPY patterns. That's just what tends to work best for me, right? So this is what I was seeing on the 30-minute chart. So in last night's video, I gave you the call zone. So the call zone, those key levels, was my foundation to buy these calls. Now, what was the confirmation? The confirmation was literally yesterday's chart. Take a look at this overall pattern. I'm going to walk you through this, man. This is such a simple pattern on the SPY. So what we're going to do is we're going to compare this pattern right here to this pattern right here. I highlighted it out for you. As you can see right here, we have a green bullish candlestick on the 30-minute chart. And then as you can see right here, we have a green bullish candlestick on the 30-minute chart. Then we have two red slanted 30-minute pins slanted to the right side. You see that? You see the slant? Then we have two red 30-minute candlestick pins slanted to the right side. Then the next 30 minutes is bullish. Then the next 30 minutes is bullish. So I noticed a pattern compared to yesterday, which was at my buy zone. You're well aware my buy zone was 586 to 587. And I noticed there was a pattern that was repeating itself for 2 hours straight, 4 30-minute candlesticks in a row. So I looked at this pattern and I said, I'm going to start to milk this overall trend. We have a strong confirmation at my overall levels. We just approached power hour. What's going to happen if history repeats itself, if this pattern tends to repeat itself? And as you can see right here, next 30 minutes, the SPY had a small drop and it ended up bottoming towards the lower part of this 30-minute candlestick. Then it ended up spiking for an hour straight. So you see that? Green, double red, green, and then you have two more green candlesticks, right? So green, double red to the right, triple green to the right. So in terms of me waiting for a confirmation, what I did was I waited for this 30-minute candlestick right here to close green and bullish. And then this 30-minute candlestick right here, the opening is at 3 p.m. And the reason why I didn't get in right away is because this is what I was waiting for. I was waiting to see if the SPY has a small drop, if SPX has a small drop, and it starts to bottom towards that previous lower part of the 30-minute. And as you can see, it started to bottom towards the previous lower part of that overall 30-minute. So I gave it about 10 minutes, and I noticed on the 1 minute to 5 minute time frame that it was forming support and maintaining that overall trend. Therefore, it's likely going to have a bullish breakout, and it could potentially go up for an hour straight. Surely enough, that pattern repeated in a very similar cycle. And we ended up even having a stronger move to the upside. And even during the extended hours trading session, there was a massive move as well. So that's the 30-minute candlestick pattern that I used to enter SPX call options, right? So I got in at 75 cents. I was selling in the 200s. I did say, you can leave some runners on this overall trade. It's looking overall bullish. And they ended up going to $2,100 a contract. We're putting ourselves in positions where we're literally risking 75 cents a contract to potentially make $2,100 a contract. And I literally told you in last night's video, every single month, we have at least 3 trades where we make over 1,000%. Now, in terms of G-Roar, he ended up holding the trade, man. He made it very, very clear he's holding. So the crazy part is he ended up buying these calls slightly before me. I ended up waiting for a strong 30-minute candlestick confirmation. I'm telling you, when we're in on the overall same trade, so in a sense, it was the same side of the trade, but we both entered at different times and we both entered at different strikes, and both of the fucking trades went up insane, man. So it counts as 2 massive W's. I bought mine literally towards the exact lows, but in terms of the trade that he ended up making, he ended up getting in slightly before me. And then in terms of, using alerts to your advantage as well, I've noticed on certain trades, when literally G-Roar is down like 70, 80, 90%, and especially if he's adding, it could be a situation where it's likely going to recover. But this was one of those rare situations where once I got in, he decided to add to his trade, and that ended up working out as well. But he ended up holding, man. This was fucking crazy. He held the trade, and he literally said in the chat, I'm going to keep on holding it as well. Look at this, man. We absolutely crushed it, man. So he ended up buying this particular strike. Let me walk you through this, man. So as you can see, he got in at 2:49 p.m. I decided to wait for that 30-minute candlestick to close. And then from there, I decided to wait for some support to form instead of jumping in right away. He ended up getting in earlier. He ended up getting in on 5905 SPX calls for 90 cents a contract. So he got in a little bit earlier. He went with a different strike, and he got in at 90 cents. So this is where we ended up getting in on these particular calls. We got in right here at 90 cents. They dropped all the way down to 20 cents. We don't use stop losses in Team Roar. The trade was down over 75%. The contracts are so cheap, so low risk, that you can put in your entire max risk per trade, as little as just literally 1 contract, as your position size, and let it expire and let it go worthless. You know exactly how much money you're going to lose. With the option, the most you lose is what you put in, right? So we don't use stop losses, and we tell people all the time, the dead plays that drop over 50% come back to life. So, this trade was down over 80%, but from a macro point of view, this was a phenomenal entry. Now, obviously, it makes all the difference in the world in terms of gains and percentage-wise if you're in at 20 cents and it goes to 1,600 a contract, right? But in terms of like overall macro point of view, 90 cents, even though the trade dropped, 70, 80% plus was an amazing entry because this went all the way up to 1600 a contract. And what we do differently inside of Team Roar is we do not use stop losses. You manage your risk accordingly by putting in your entire position size as your max risk per trade. Therefore, the most you lose is what you're willing to risk, which could be a couple percent of your account. So with that being said, in terms of this overall trade, man, he ended up adding, after I got in my SPX calls, he ended up shortly adding after I got in, and he added at 45 cents, which is something very, very rare that we do in terms of adding to losers. But in this particular situation, it was one of those trades where, especially G-Roar, he wanted to hold out the trade and just let it ride. So he decided to add it. And like I said, when we're both in on the same side, it's fucking unstoppable. He added at 45 cents. So, overall, that's getting your average to at least 75 cents a contract. And then ended up selling right here at 3:33 p.m. Ended up selling at a very amazing exit, literally in the 700 contractor range. And in terms of the overall, average, that's around 70 cents. So that in itself was a 1,000% gainer where we actually sold for 1,000%, right? So G-Roar, he ended up trading it a lot better than I did, but we both absolutely crushed it. My entry and timing was 100% spot on. I didn't hold it as long, but we both fucking killed it, man. I ended up getting out in terms of mine at 231. I was in at 70, right? So phenomenal trades, man. We absolutely crushed it. And the winning, it didn't, that's where the winning ended. But in terms of where it started, I mean, take a look at this, man. You guys know inside of Team Roar, these are the best morning trades you're ever going to see, man. We ended up going 2 for 2 in the morning, man. Take a look at the morning trades, man. Who the fuck do you know is doing this, man? We could literally walk away during the morning trading session, 2 for 2, trade on puts, multiple 100% profit returns. And then we come back during power hour, pulling out 2 trades that went up multiple 1,000%. It's dude, we're unfucking stoppable. Nobody is on this fucking level of trading that we're fucking on, man. There's nobody out there that is printing like us at the speed of light. Who do you know is learning these SPX calls literally towards the exact lows, holding for the big gains, selling for the bulk of the overall move, man? Look at these trades that we ended up making during the market open trading session. For those of you in Team Roar, you're well aware, man, nearly every single morning is literally green. You could just trade the first 30 minutes, walk away with the biggest percentage gains within the overall market with the lowest risk. As you can see, at 9:35 a.m., this is the first trade we ended up making on the day, 586 SPY puts for 80 cents a contract. So we bought these SPY 586 puts for 80 cents a contract right here at 9:35 a.m. This is when we ended up getting in on these overall puts. We got in these puts towards the exact lows, and then we ended up selling right here at the 200-cent mark, right? Literally making over a 130% profit return. First trade on the day, you can walk away. Losing is a choice. You're already green. No reason to go green to red, right? So when you're already green, especially on a nice win like that, the most you risk is 50%. If you want to be more conservative, risk 30%. If you hit that max risk, then you have to call for the day because you can't risk going green to red on a situation like that. And I'm telling you, nearly every single morning inside of Team Roar is green. So we had a phenomenal win on puts. This was phenomenal. As you can see, move your stops closer. As I tell you guys, the morning trades are almost wins every single time, and set profit stops, right? So we're not setting stop losses, we're setting profit stops. We're doing the complete opposite of what everyone you know of is doing, right? And this is how we're able to win because we know how to trade, and we've created money-making systems that are working. And we've created educational systems that are working for those of you who are using my education that I've trained everyone inside of, the overall groups that I've created. You should be consistently making money within the market. I showed you exactly how to use the 10-day, 30-minute chart, and I tell you to apply it at the levels. It works nearly every single time. I used it today. I studied a 30-minute pattern at my levels, and we ran up SPX calls at the exact lows, and they went up multiple 1,000%. Very, very simple, man. You got to pay attention to the 30-minute candlestick patterns at the overall levels, right? And then, we set the profit stops. That was a phenomenal win. Puts up 177 cents a contract. Then we had another trade on puts at 584 SPY puts for 80 cents a contract at 11:06 a.m. Right. So in terms of that overall trade, it quickly went, as you can see right here. I'm gonna break this down for you. So 80 cents a contract, it quickly went to 120 cents a contract, right? And that was another situation where you set profit stops and you get profit stopped out on the overall trade, breaking down the full plays, the full recaps, right? And then in terms of the trades after that, it was just small wins and 1L. So this was a phenomenal trading day, man. Like I said, every single month, we have a couple trades where we're actually making, over 1,000% gains. So you really have to ask yourself, man, who do you know of? What other trader, what other group do you really know of who is literally making 1,000% gains multiple times a month, man? When you make a 1,000% gain, you could still be green after losing literally 18 trades in a row if you're losing 50% on each one of those trades, man. I'm telling you, we've turned trading into a game of percentages. That's what we figured out, man. The biggest percentage gains and the cheapest, lowest risk 0-to-8 options contract. So cheap, so low risk, you can literally buy one contract and you could put in your entire max risk per trade as your entire position size. And since you're not risking a lot, how are you able to make such big gains on that? Well, you're able to make such big gains on that because the percentage gains are so big. We're letting the percentage returns in the time we hold our trades do the work for us, not the dollars that we're putting in. But in certain situations, in terms of the system that we've created, we add to winners. We add to winners to increase the winning. And also, we do this when we're up small amounts. So like for us, 5, 10, 20% returns, very, very small amounts because we're known for making 100%, multiple 100% to thousands of percents, right? So when we're up a little bit, the way we increase our winnings, when we get a winning confirmation, when we're in a win, right? Because we prefer to not add to losers. When we're up, we tend to win big and the winning tends to work in our favor, right? So we like to quickly add to winners when there's a winning confirmation on the overall chart and everything it is that we're using with the systems that we've created. So in that particular situation, what we do is we add to winners and then we set a profit stop. We set a profit stop to ensure that it's impossible to lose on our trade. It's impossible to go green to red and to protect our new average cost. We move the profit stop up higher to ensure that it's going to protect the bulk of our gains when the market has a big move against the overall trade. And we sell the moves and we leave the runners for the big gains, right? So we're doing it differently over here. Like I said, man, we're entering literally at the best times possible. We're timing it nearly perfect. And we're holding for the big wins, man. If you want to win big within this market, you have to buy something that's cheap. You have to buy something that's low risk. You have to hold for longer periods of time. And you have to know what it is that you're doing and time it properly, right? I'm telling you, that's the way to win big in the market, man. You got to time it properly, buy something that's cheap, low risk in terms of cutting edge parts of our 0-to-8 options trading alert system. We don't need to have stop losses. We have the entire day to hold the trade for it to go in the money, right? So especially on the morning trades, they could drop 50% on you very, very quickly, but then you have the entire day for the 30-minute candlestick to flip and for the trend to go within your favor. And I'm telling you, the trend tends to be on our overall side because we're trading the overall trend, man. So in terms of doing this, we have over 10 years of experience in trading, and I would highly recommend that you try out the program if you're serious about making money in trading alongside us, man. I'm telling you, in terms of alerts, there's a lot of value within alerts, man. There's so many things you can do in terms of alerts. You can recognize patterns on people's alerts. You can follow alerts and make money on alerts. You can use it as education to see exactly when we're entering, and then you can apply that as a confirmation to enter your trade in terms of what you're learning from my videos and your own experience. There's a lot of unique ways to take advantage of the market by having access to traders alerts, right? So in terms of our group, you get access to our 0-to-8 trading options alert system. You get access to the best trades you're ever going to experience within the market. Like I said, who do you know today ended up buying put options twice for over 150% profit returns on those two trades? Then during the power hour trading session, buys SPX calls and they go up 4,000%. And then I buy another strike and that goes up fucking 2,500%. Who do you know that's doing this? Who do you know is making these type of percentage gains every single day, alerting the best trades at the best possible prices, man? So like I said, in terms of trading with real money, this is the highest tier and the highest level of trading. Options will give you options, but in terms of trading, far out of the money options give you the most options. They allow you to risk less and make more than everyone else. They allow you to remove the stop loss and hold the trade to go in the fucking money. They allow you to do things that you can't do with overall shares, man. So I'm telling you, if you're serious about making money, man, this is it. And rich people prefer to trade this way because they know how to trade. They know how to hold their trades for longer periods of time, and they know how to make serious gains within the market, man. Don't let anybody tell you different, man, that small wins are going to add up and all that shit, man. Most people, they take big position sizes. They risk a lot. They use tight stop losses because they're putting in so much money into their trades, and they sell quickly because they're putting in so much money into their trades. What we do is we put in less money. Since we're putting in less money, less risk, which means we don't need a stop loss, max risk per trade, entire position size, no stop loss needed. Sometimes we'll sell 30, 50% loss. Other times we'll hold. When we hold, 70% of the time, the dead play that's down 50% plus tends to come back to life and go in the money when we decide to hold that trade, right? We do the complete opposite of what everyone else is doing. We're known for setting profit stops, not stop losses. Profit stops ensure that we don't go green to red on an overall trade, meaning if we're up like 30% and we have a profit stop set, we're not going to go back to red, right? And we add to winners to increase the winning. We move the profit stop up higher to ensure that we don't get back the bulk of our overall gains if we're not selling into the moves, right? So we're doing the complete opposite of what everybody else is doing. And we have a very unique trade alert system that works for many, many traders. I can assure you, man, we have tons of members and they're not leaving. They're staying within the overall program because they love the community. They love the alerts and they're gaining a lot of trading experiences. And some of them are making a lot of money throughout the alerts. Like I said, we have many members who are making $500 to $1,000 a day. We have some members who are making 5 figures a week. We have some members who are making over 6 figures a month. There's currently 2 multimillionaires inside of Team Roar that are learning everything it is that they're doing in real time. And this works, man. So if you want to experience the real deal, if you want to experience the best of the best, if you want to see what the top tier of trading looks like, if you want to experience something real that works, it is the first link down below within the description, man. I can assure you there's nothing else like this out there within the overall world, man. I'm telling you, this fucking group prints non-stop. It's like having a fucking money printer literally within your pocket. You could just pull out your fucking phone. It's non-stop money print alerts, man. Non-stop. Alerted to you real time via push notification on the Discord app, via desktop notification on the Discord app. Make sure you turn on notifications. I'm telling you, man, this is a money printing machine. And the way to learn how to trade is to actually trade. You trade alongside us. You're going to learn a lot, especially if you're applying what it is that I'm teaching you within these videos. I show you how to read the 10-day, 30-minute chart. Well, I had a buy zone. I waited for the buy zone to hit, right? So in terms of the buy zone, I told you, 586 right here. This was the line I drew. And 587. Where did I buy those fucking calls? I bought those fucking calls at my 587.50-ish level. I bought the calls at my level. I waited 2 fucking hours for that pattern to form. Did you wait 2 hours to form? I waited 2 hours. I got in at like one of the best fucking prices you could have possibly gotten in at those fucking calls, man. My level banked. My level that I gave you in last night's video gave you the best opportunity to buy SPX calls. And I always tell you the best time to trade is during that power hour trading session, man. If you would have bought calls way earlier, you wouldn't have made nearly as much as we fucking did, man. And you wouldn't have had to hold for a very long time. Can't hold a trade 30 fucking minutes to make 2,000, 3,000, 4,000%. It's 30 fucking minutes, man. The fuck? So, anyways, man, if you want to see the top tier of what the best looks like, because I'm telling you, man, the wins in here, the highest fucking win rate in the game, the biggest percentage gains, it's fucking unreal. People come in here, they're like, dude, finally, something real. Everyone's alerting what they're doing in real time. It's fucking real, and it's a system. No fucking stop losses, setting the profit stops, moving the profit stops higher. The risk of the trade is your entire position size. Your entire position size is your max risk per trade, not risking a lot of your account, letting the percentage gains do the work for you, letting the extra time holding do the work for you, actually knowing how to fucking trade, right? Dead plays come back to life, go in the money. Fucking dude, this is cracked out. This is nothing else like this available within the market, man. I'm telling you, man. In terms of the fucking gains, this is unstoppable. You cannot stop our money printer. Nobody can shut off our money printer, man. It prints nonstop. We have money printers that print nonstop. We have educational systems that make traders self-sufficient. I took advantage of my educational system. I teach you how to read the 10-day, 30-minute chart. I saw a pattern. My levels was the foundation. I saw a fucking pattern in comparison to yesterday's pattern. To me, this is very simple. I had a zone to buy calls, right? SPY's forming higher support. It's no longer going back down to 585. It's forming higher support. I saw the fucking pattern. Green, double red slanted to the right. Green, double red slanted to the right. 3 triple slanted to the right. 3 triple slanted to the right. It's like, dude, who the fuck is capturing this in real time? Did you capture this in real time? I teach you how to read the 10-day, 30-minute chart. That's what I fucking did. We bought the SPX calls. They were in multiple 1,000% returns. You know how many multimillionaires I have that are following and using this curriculum? It fucking works, man. So, for those of you who are serious about making money, it's the first link down below within the description. You gain access to our chat, our community, and all of our real-time trade alerts. I'm telling you, these are the best trades within the fucking game. And in terms of trading, that's what we do. We give people the best trades in the game possible, man. That is exactly what we do. And I teach people exactly how it is that I do it, man, making losing a personal choice. I give you the buy zone. I teach you the overall patterns. What the fuck is your excuse to be red? Losing red, it's a personal fucking choice, man. We rarely have red days inside of Team Roar. The percentage gains always outweigh the percentage losses. And the win rate is incredibly high, not that it needs to be. because the risk to reward ratio is so fucking high on these overall trades. If you want a strong foundation as a trader, you need to figure out how to be profitable with a 30% win rate. Once you figure that out, you found your system, then you need to figure out how to increase your win rate. And that is exactly what we've done. And we have the highest win rate in the game doing this. So there's just nobody else like there in terms of this level of trading. I can assure you, man, this is the best fucking group you're ever going to find. So it's the first link down below in the description if you want to trade alongside with us. We're going to absolutely crush it. With that being said, I'm signing off.